Hey Stitchers, remember me? It's been a long time. I checked back on my account and I think it's been 10 months since my last video. So yes, colour me chastised and ashamed. Lots went on. I finished college, yay! I submitted my dissertation last month. So hopefully I will be graduating in December, but I am done never again. 4 years. Worth it, I'm sure, but 4 years of non-stop stress. Anyway, I'm not going to delay because I literally have bags of stuff beside me here to show you, and I don't want to spend hours and hours on here annoying you all with my waffle, but I do have so much to show and so much excitement. So I think first of all, maybe we'll do whips, because there are lots of starts in here that you didn't see, but maybe we'll do, oh actually I think I have FOs as well. I can't pause. Oh, I'll have to tell you about them later. I tried pausing, I remember my last video, and the whole thing went to hell. Can I pause with my spacebar? No. Okay, I just had to try. I'm such a technology lacking person. Anyway, let's do what I've got in my whips, and that includes my starts. And then I'm just back from Florida. I went back, yay, after 4 years, and it was my first time going back as a cross stitcher, and I had fun. I bought a lot, so we'll talk about that. So let me see. Oh yes, tea mug of the day is my Starbucks Florida mug. Space shuttle. Alligator. I keep confusing alligator and crocodile. The Sunshine State. Yes, it was. I don't know what this is all about, but flamingo. Key lime pie, yum yum, and orange blossom. Always very funny story with us. There's a huge shopping mall in Orlando called the Florida Mall, and it's on a road called the Orange Blossom Trail. And when we first went over, we used to get the sat nav that came with Hertz cards, and it was called Never Lost. And the woman's voice was very funny because she pronounced things fine for most of the time, but the road, like I said, was the Orange Blossom Trail, so Orange Blossom, and she used to always call it Orange Blossom Trail, and we used to have so much fun laughing at that. So every year when we would go back, once we'd bought our own sat nav, you know, and didn't pay the extortionate rates for the Neverlost, we used to always have to say, my daughter used to make us say Orange Blossom Trail when we were going there. So I'm quite happy that's on the mug. Slight jealousy that I didn't realise there's now a Starbucks in Disney's Magic Kingdom. I didn't know until I'd left, and I was so tired that night I just couldn't bring my feet to bring me back. But they have an exclusive Magic Kingdom mug. I would have been all over that, but anyway, I got a Florida mug. Right, let's go. Whips. Most of these whips are, in fairness, probably starts, because it's been so disgracefully long. So I have a box here, so I will move through them as quick as I can, so that you don't have to listen to loads of plastic rustling and whatever else. So the first one, most of these I started for Stitch Mania, which I did do in my lunacy because I was in the middle of college exams and finishing my dissertation. But I just said, I don't care anymore. I'm so stressed. I need stuff to do. So I distracted myself by starting loads of stuff. So this is Greek Gods and Goddesses from Cloud's Factory. And this is a piece of Ada, 18 count Ada, that I don't know if you ever saw before, but I dyed this myself. I ice dyed this one. Can't even tell you the names of the shades I used, but it was powdered Dylon dye, because you can't get RIT over here. I will come back to that later. But I dyed this myself, and this was as far as I got. So I did, I can't even see what I'm showing you myself. I did, I think it's Zeus. So I did almost all of him, and I did his, what's that, scepter, lightning strike, whatever. I did that in some gold petite treasure braid that I already have from another project, My Crowns the Kingdom. So I just used him, and I never went back to it, primarily because I kind of now realise I really don't like stitching on Ada. I really don't like it. Now this is kind of softer because I've dyed it and washed it and, you know, messed with it, but I just don't like stitching on Ada. But I will go back to this and finish it. And my needle minder is from, oh god, sorry, I didn't even show you that. It's like a Star Wars one, or Pac-Man eating Star Wars. Is it Molly the Everyday Stitcher? Is that her name? I bought a ton of stuff because she had a big sale where they were like $1 a reminder. I was like, yes! Because by the time you add on shipping to this godforsaken country, they work out super expensive. So that's whip number 1 that I'm quite ashamed about because I've literally never touched. This one I started as part of the, is it Fairyland or Storytale Sal that Garrett from Stitchmania Coffee Stitcher started. And this is Sew to Stitch, and it's Alice in Wonderland. And this is where I am. I'll just move those now. So you can see, I don't even know if I showed you this before, but I really love this. Like, Sew to Stitch's characters are so cute. Again, this is on 18 count Ada, because I remember I went into our local alleged craft shop. It should have quote marks around it because it sucks. If you want to make curtains, they have everything. Apart from that, you're kind of screwed. Or acrylic knitting yarn, yeah. So I just bought all they had of 18 count Ada because the woman told me they weren't stocking it anymore and all they would have would be 14 count, and I was like, no. And I bought it primarily to mess with and dye with, just to see how I would find dyeing. But this project, I had to start it when I saw Garrett starting the Fairy Tale Sal. So that's where I am on this. It's Alice in Wonderland from Sew to Stitch. And again, cutie pewty Alice in Wonderland stitch marker from Molly the Everyday Stitcher. So that's that one. Every so often I come back to it and I do a little bit. The back stitch is a killer. I don't know if I would, I know I bought absolute piles of Sew to Stitch patterns before. Do you remember my last video? I think I showed you them all, but if the level of back stitch in this one is the same in the others, oh, I don't know. I find back stitch very difficult because I can never get it to look the same as it does on the patterns, because I know they always tell you to go one block at a time, but if you do that, it just looks like a chain and it looks awful, and their patterns never look like that. So I try and drag it across and then stuff happens. This one, this is brand new kind of banana stuff. Haid announced they had gotten a license from Thomas Kincaid, and I remember getting very excited thinking, oh my god, will they have like the Disney stuff? Because I love the, obviously I'm Disney mad, where have I just been? But I thought, oh, wouldn't it be nice to kind of stitch something Disney for the house? We've got Disney stuff like literally all over the place. I have always wanted a kit. Was it Dimensions? It was like a Victorian, you know that they used to do a range of Victorian Mickey and Minnies, and this one was like their wedding day, and it was Victorian Mickey in his beautiful white suit and Victorian Minnie. Mistletoe Kiss was the name of it, and I could never get it because by the time I started cross stitching it was long gone. And I think I remember seeing it once on eBay and they were looking for like $250 or something, and I said, yeah, hell no. But it's something I've always wanted, was to have a nice piece of Disney cross stitch. And anyway, who doesn't know Thomas Kincaid and love his art? His light is beautiful. So, like I said, Haid announced that they were, after getting the license to do Thomas Kincaid cross stitch, and I actually just realised I don't have the picture because yeah, I'm too mean to waste my ink. But I immediately could not wait, and I bought Santa's Workshop. And I struggled to find fabric. Now, let me see, it's recommended to do it on, obviously, 25 count. Isn't that what all Haids are? And of course, I don't have 25 count, and I didn't have 25 count big enough, so I'm pretty sure this is 28 count even weave, and it's enormous. I bought this at the Knitting and Stitching show in Dublin last fall, and I think I paid like £20 sterling for it, and it, like, you know, it's like huge. So I can't even show you, it's all so big. So I immediately, the day this was released, I was like total fangirl, and I bought it, and I cast on, that's total knit and tuck. I started stitching, and that was as far as I got. It looks like nothing on earth. I did start 2/2, no, 2/1, and it was just too bulky. 2/1 for Haids is a no-go. I couldn't do it, so I had to rip it back, and I started with 1/1, and it's much better. But it's super detailed. It's very hard, like, it's so small. But it will look fab, I know it will. And my needle minder, I'm sure you've seen before, is the White Rabbit, and I got that from, was it Minding My Minders? They're not in business anymore anyway. So that was that, and I haven't gone near that since, primarily because I need time, daytime, to do this. Because, oh yes, since there's all my threads. Since the last time I saw ye, I invested and I bought a Lowry stand. Now, that Lowry stand cost me very little. I bought the X-Demo model at the Knitting and Stitching show last year. So, I think it's meant to cost, I don't know, 120, 130 euros. And your man at the stall was all, yeah, I can sell you one of them. English accent, insert here. And I was like, okay, well, how much for that one? And he went, and I said, well, you don't want to carry it back in your van across the ferry and have to unload it. And if you can sell it here, I got it for 50 euros. Got Larry's dad for 50 euros. There's like barely a mark on it. It's a little bit worn from where he's been like unscrewing it and screwing it and lifting it. There's nothing wrong with it. 50 euros. Bargain queen. Very happy. So, yeah, that's kind of revolutionised my stitching. And then I got, my husband bought it for me for Christmas. And one of these telescopic kind of adjustable arms that has a giant lamp with an LED light on it. So I have that attached to my coffee table, and I kind of snake it over and put it in front of my stitching, and it does help. But when I turn it on, the LEDs are like really bright, and the other guys are always giving out that it's distracting them. They can't see the TV because it's so bright. So I need to either move myself to a dedicated stitching space upstairs, which I can do, but I need to clean up a lot. And then I would be kind of antisocial, but you know what? I could get this stuff done. Or I need days on my own at home, which never happens. So I think, yeah, I'm probably going to end up migrating upstairs. Okay, next whip is one I know you've seen before, Crowns of the Kingdom. I really love this project. But I'm always very slow to take it out because it's quite fiddly, and stitching with metallics is very difficult. But I don't even know where I was the last time, but this is where I am now. I've done quite a bit now. I have It might not look like it, but hello. Yeah, I've done quite a bit. I'm really enjoying it. I know I'm very close to the edge, and I'm actually quite annoyed about that because I specifically contacted the purchaser that I bought this, it's 32 count even me from, and I told them what project I wanted to make it for, told them the size, and this is what they sent me, and you can see how close to the edge I am, and yeah, not mega happy about that. That's my Roblo West Wing needle minder. Minding my minders again, gone out of business. Love me some Roblo. This fabric is so gorgeous. It's just buttery soft. Love it. So that's my Crowns the Kingdom. I have been tipping away at it. Must get back to that. What else did I do? Oh yes, I did this Mill Hill kit, which is they seem to have a range of Santas, and this is Barbados Caribbean Santa. And I did this because I was 20 years married last month. I would have been out of prison earlier for murder, but I was 20 years married last month, and we went on our honeymoon to Barbados. So when I saw him at the Knitting and Stitching show last year, I said, yes. So I bought him and I did him. So he's all done. I just don't know what to do with him now once he's finished, but he's all done. And he love it. Look at his mustache and beard. Love him. So that's Barbados Santa. What else do I have in my... Oh yes. Oh, this is another embarrassing one. This is another Haid I started because I love them, but God knows if I'll ever finish them. And it's this one, Trick or Treat. Isn't that so cute? Look at that picture. Love it. I did consider, after watching Stitcherista get so obsessed about diamond painting, it did occur to me that wouldn't this one be great as a diamond painting, but then I said, I'm after spending so much money already on this that I said no. And I know I would be a million times happier if I stitched it. This is a 25 count even weave, but it's quite stiff. I think it's DMC Easy Guide. This is showing you how long it's been since I took this one out. All of my parked threads. So that's where, let me move my Wicked Witch. Now, that's where I am on that. That's the top left corner. Yeah, it looks like nothing on earth. Now, this one, actually, it's quite interesting. The previous one I showed you, I did 1/1 full cross. This one I'm doing 2/1 10th stitch, and actually I think it looks really good. I'm really pleased with it. Like, you can't see anything really. Look, you can't see through that coverage. Really pleased. And I should have started the Santa's Workshop the same way, because maybe because it was 28 count, maybe that's why I didn't. I thought it might show through, I don't know, but I love this and it's super quick, so hence how much I've gotten done. But yeah, park threads. That's my Trick or Treat, and I really, when I started it, oh sorry, needle minders, Eva Queen from Snow White and Wicked Witch from Wizard of Oz. How could you not have witches for a Halloween project? I had hoped when I started that eons ago I'd have it done for Halloween. Yeah, I know I'm funny. Excuse me. What else do I have? Oh yes, this one is one that's interesting, because I need to finish this and I'm kind of afraid to finish it. I bought this as a surprise for my husband, but it's also going to be like a memorial for me too. And it's called The Graduate, and it's by Sue Hill's Designs. Now this will be, I'm sure, back to front for ye. So what it says is, to believe in yourself and in what you can do is to take the first step on the road to success. and it has your diploma here, which you can substitute obviously for whatever phrase. Lovely key to knowledge, I presume. Your graduate cap, and then it has the, I don't know what this is meant to be. To me it's like Aladdin's lamp, but anyway. And then you put in your name of your graduate and the year and the university. I just thought that was really lovely. So I bought this from 123 Stitch, and I stitched this on 28 count cashel linen, which was really beautiful to stitch on, really beautiful. Like it's so malleable and soft, and I loved stitching on this, and I've got this much left over afterwards, so I can do something else. But this is it, it's done. So to believe in yourself, and I changed obviously diploma to degree for me and my husband, and I put in the key, and I put in whatever that yoke is meant to be. So all I need to do is graph out our names and the university and the year and stitch them in, and I want to have this done because I want to send it off and get it framed and give it to him when we graduate formally, you know, in your cap and gown and whatever. So that was it. It was really nice to stitch, but there were a lot of annoying bits about it, particularly the scroll. Now I made a bit of a balls, and I'm going to kind of show you now, but you know, isn't that how other people learn? I looked at this and it told me to stitch it 1/1, and I tried. So I started trying to stitch it 1/1, and it was just a mess. It was just a mess. Sorry, 2/1. And it was a mess. And I said, yeah, maybe you do it 1/1. But then I thought to myself, well, what's wrong with doing it 2/2, the same as the rest of it was? I don't get this mirabilia skein 1/1 and whatever. So I changed it, but I had to fudge a lot. Yeah, particularly around the top of the D. Look at the state of it. It's disgraceful. But I just said, no, I'm going to keep going. I love the ivy because they're kind of like, almost like shamrocks, I'm sure, like being Irish, bigara, you know. But isn't it lovely? Really love this, and I think it's going to make a lovely present. Even if he doesn't like it, I do, and I'm going to hang it up and be proud of our achievements. So that was that. I've been working very much away on the Prairie Schooler months. I bought all of the 12 months for the Prairie Schoolers. They're literally 10 feet away. Will I go and get them? I can't pause. Yeah, okay, hold on. And I'm back. Now, these are, excuse me for the huge boobs there. These are loads of little bits that I've finished in the meantime. This one is a Lizzie Kate. Be naughty, save Santa a trip. Super quick, super easy. Lizzie Kate annoys me a bit in a way that she charges like $5 for each one of those. And you know, particularly like Halloween rules, if you want to stitch them all, cost you a fortune. Just sell them all in the one pattern. But anyway, my personal opinion, I know people love her. This is a Prairie Schooler. I went a bit mad. I've gone Prairie Schooler mad. Yes, I bought all the months, but I also bought like other stuff. This one, love, because I loves me some Halloween. Now this is fabric I dyed myself. Oh God, Desert Sand or something, I think the dye-along was called. And this is a piece of 32 count even weave that I dyed myself. It was scraps I had left over. Do you remember in previous videos, you probably don't, I had started a mini Haid called Alice in Wonderland, and I realised I had gone completely wrong in my sizing because I had stitched 2/2 and the size of fabric I had was only enough for 2/1. So I scrapped the whole thing, and I cut off all of the scraps that I had on the sides, like on the bottom of the fabric, and I said they could be used for, you know, messing with dyeing and whatever. And I dyed this piece, and I just immediately said to myself when it dried, Halloween. And it turned out to be big enough, and I stitched this. Look at that. That's Double Double by Prairie Schooler. Absolutely adore this. Cannot wait to get this framed and hung up. Now, all of the green that you see was meant to be like this orangey colour. And I said, well, two things. First of all, it would clash with the fabric. And then second of all, I wanted something super creepy. And I thought this was. So that's my Double Double. Isn't it cool? I absolutely love it. I particularly love the way, just kismet, the fabric went kind of pale here. Kind of highlights the contrast between the witches. I love that. So that was that one. Yes, so like I said, Prairie Schooler mad. So I started stitching the Prairie Schooler months. There is one for each month of the year. This is the first one. This is January. These, I bought 12 pieces of this fabric. And if I can remember, is it lamb's wool, 32 count lamb's wool. That's what it is from Wichelt. So I said I bought the 12 of them, so I used the recommended fabric. I wanted everything to be perfect. So this is January. January brings the snow, makes your feet and fingers glow. And it needs to be pressed and framed. So that was that one. But I get so frustrated because every single project I stitch, I make a mistake, and it just really upsets me and demoralises me. I made a mistake in the house, and I made a mistake in the snowman, but I fudged, and I think it turned out okay. But it's just, I'm such a perfectionist. Every time I look at that stuff, it's going to remind me. Anyway, I started January, and it took me yonks, and I said, well, maybe I'm going the wrong way. Maybe if I go backwards, then by the time next January comes around, I might actually have them, you know, done and ready to hang. As I think it was probably March before I finished that January. So I said, right, let's go back and do December. So I did December. Chill December brings the sleet. What is it? Chill December brings the sleet, a blazing fire and holiday treat. Love it. This was a pain in the bum. Love it. Again, I messed up because I make a mistake in everything I do, and I messed up on the house, but I think I fudged it and I think it turned out great. What I will say is Prairie Schooler has an obsession with DMC 3371. I don't know how many skeins skeins I've gone through so far, but everything, all of the border, all the trees, everything in every pattern is 3371. So I had to order a ton load more, and I probably don't even have, I think I ordered 6 more, and I'd say I don't even have enough to finish. So yeah, Prairie Schooler loves her 3371. This is one I bought at the Knitting and Stitching Show. It's Little House Needleworks, and I adore this. Again, this is a piece of cashel linen. I think it's this 32 count, and it's Louise and Henry. Oh, absolutely infatuated in love with this. I love sheep. I always have, always will. And I stitched this, and I absolutely loved every stitch. Every stitch. Look at her. She's a big mama. All of that wool for me to knit and stitch, which I love it. That was Louise and Henry. And they're lovely little small quick kind of projects to work with, but their faces are so cute. I mean, she looks a bit demonic now, I will say. Look at her eyes. She is a bit demonic, but I love her. She's probably been my absolute favourite thing to stitch so far, has been Louise and Henry. What else do I have? I think that's all my whips. I've like so much haul, it's disgraceful. I told you I already have all 12 months of the Prairie Schooler months. I also have this Barnyard Christmas. Love, love. I bought it for that. No other reason than the sheep. And maybe the pig a little bit. And maybe the cow. Oh, look, I just love them all. I love my Prairie Schoolers. So that's... I went a bit nuts. Oh, I've one other whip. This is on my lap frame. That's why I forgot. This is it Dimensions? I'm not really sure, but it's the Serenity Prayer, and it's a big kit, and it looks like a forest, and then the text is all up here like in backstitch. And that's where I am on that, and not enjoying it at all. It's nasty, cheap, tacky, 14 count data. Ugh. Like I said, the more I'm getting into this hobby, the more I'm realising Ada's not for me. Now, I know people love it, and I'm not putting it down. Some people love that rigidity because it makes it, particularly I suppose if you stitch in hand, you'd love that rigidity, but I don't. I like it softer and just kind of gentler to the touch. And when I can, I like to sew stitch. So I would kind of do one leg of a stitch all the way up in a column and then come back down. But I do it by going through in one and out the other at the same kind of movement. I find it quicker and nicer, particularly when I have my Lowry and whatever. Now, speaking of my Lowry, when I bought that, all I had was hoops, and to say it was a pain in the derriere was an understatement. So I always wanted Q-snaps, and I remember my husband was like, oh, I can make you them, because I had shown him Crafty Pam's tutorial on how to make your own stands from PVC pipe. So, excuse me, I showed him that, and he said, yes, I could totes do that. Went off and bought a load of PVC and tried and failed. And I went, and excuse me, he kept saying, oh, I'll buy you more, I'll fix it. And we got over to Florida this year, and I went, because to buy a Q-snap in Ireland is stonking ridiculous expensive, because there's no retailer here, so you buy from the UK, you pay shipping, and shipping goes by weight, and it's a disgrace. I am going to rectify this. I am going to rise up and open my needlecraft shop myself, but in the meantime, no. So I went to Michael's, and when I was in Michael's, I went berserk, and I bought Q-snaps. This one is 17 by 11, because I said, won't this be great for my heights? So I bought that, and I also bought an 8 by 8 to use for kind of everyday stuff. I didn't see the point in buying that smaller. Now, I did also buy another packet of the corner connectors, so I could kind of combine them, whatever. So I could do 11 by 8 with my 17 by 11, or I could do 17 by 8 or whatever. So I bought them, so I have that. So I figure between the two, I have enough. What else did I buy in Michael's? This before I even got to a needlecraft shop. I was actually quite disappointed, I will say. I thought I was going to be in stitchy heaven, but I did buy a stupid amount of RIT dye, because all the videos that you see are on Flosstube are all people using RIT dye, and I said, well, I can't get RIT dye, and I felt very inadequate and whatever. So I got into the shop and went down, and there was all the RIT dyes. Now, they all obviously had the bottles of liquid, which I know is what everyone was using, but you know, can't transport liquid home to Ireland. So I bought every box of powder dye they had. So I got royal blue, Kelly green, hate that phrase, it's so bigosh Irish. Kelly green, sunshine orange, scarlet rojo, teal. To me that's green. Teal is like a petrol blue in my opinion. Teal, fuchsia, purple, pearl grey, petal pink, black, and golden yellow. Now, if I can't properly dye some fabric with all of them, well, then we're in trouble. So that was my almost all of my Michael's purchases. I have since kind of paired things together. I'll show you that now in a sec. What's this one? Oh yeah, I went to Joann's and I bought sewing patterns, but you don't want to hear about sewing patterns. So yes, then I had other stuff. Now, before I went away, I did my homework and I looked up and I saw that, excuse me, the nearest needlecraft shop to me was a crowd called Needlorts in Altamonte Springs. So I programmed them into my sat nav and away I went. It was about maybe an hour's drive from where we were staying. It was fine. It was actually up, turns out that it was very close to a really beloved knitting shop of mine that used to be there called Sip and Knit. And there was just the loveliest woman, Donnie, that used to own that shop. She was such a lovely woman, but she retired and went back to Ohio, I think is where she was from. But every year for 14 years we went to her shop and she remembered us all and she used to greet us all with hugs and her little dog. And oh, she was such a lovely woman. It really made you feel welcome and missed and wanted. It was lovely. But anyway, she retired and I remember being very sad at the thoughts of going over there this year that I wouldn't be able to see her. But then this shop turned out to be like a mile, 2 miles away. And I remember remarking about how close it was. My husband saying, well, thank God you weren't into cross-stitching as well in all those years, because I spent so much. But anyway, two things I did buy also in Michael's was plastic canvas. Now, I bought this because I've seen so many people talking about it and you can't get it here, obviously. But I do think I probably bought the wrong thing. It was all they had, but it says it's 10 mesh. I presume that means like 10 count. I don't know, but it was like buttons, $1 or something for each sheet. I don't know, so I bought that. Right, then when I was in Joann's, I think I got a lot of kits. Michael's had nothing, and I went to 4 different Michael's in Orlando. 4, I'm dedicated, and they had nothing. So I went into Joann's and I got a few bits. So this is one I got. This is called Quilting Line. I think that's quite cute. Yeah, I mean, I'm a sucker for kits when they're kind of cheap. Now, the fact that this is physically printed onto the paper makes me seriously question whether it was ever $19.99. But anyway, for $10, I thought, isn't it cute? I love it, particularly because the little bunny loved that. So I bought that. Oops, excuse me. I know I bought other kits, don't know where they are. Never mind. Okay, so then I went to Needlorts in Altamonte Springs and I bought so much. Like I spent like $500. But it was worth it. I regret nothing. The first thing I bought was this. This is Hands-On Designs, Fresh Eggs Farm, Priscilla and Chelsea. Yes, yes, yes. And I just bought it because it's the chickens. And I saw it was stitched on black. If you think you can get black Ada, my God, in this country, you're joking. So in Michael's, I bought some 14 count black Ada. That's number 1. The second one was another Priscilla and Chelsea Hands-On Design Special. Let It Snow Bungalow. Love it. Lovely Christmas ornament. So again, I bought the black Ada. What else did I buy? Oh yes, here's more of my Joann's stuff. This one, like $4. Who's going to leave that there for $4? All you need is love. Love is all you need. Totally agree. I'm running out of space beside me to pile all of this. Then I bought Joan Elliott. You can spot her a mile away with her lettering. And before I even read this, I knew it was hers. My aim is to keep... What is it? My aim is to keep this bathroom clean. Your aim will help. Yeah, we've all lived with men. We all know that's kind of important. This is getting stitched and it's getting hung. right above my toilet bowl in my master bathroom. Hint, hint. So I went to Needle Arts and I bought so much stuff. I bought Who's There? Love it. Love Prairie Schoolers. Love Halloween. Nobody does Halloween, in my opinion, like Prairie Schooler. They're just so... Oh, they're so kind of primitively scary. That's the best phrase. Knock, knock. Who's... Knock, knock. Who's there? That's probably why she designed them that way. I've just copped that. Then I bought this one because I thought it was very funny. Hands-on design again. Irony. The opposite of wrinkly. Because, you know, anybody who has children, they all believe in the thing that's called the magic washing basket. So you throw your clothes on the floor, the magic washing basket comes along, picks them up, washes them, irons them, and they end up back in your drawers and wardrobes again. Yay, a magic washing basket. So, irony. Opposite of wrinkly. And it's playing words, and I love some puns. Then I bought this because I'm like a totes tourist. Map of Florida. So I'm going to probably end up removing either this or this and sticking in Orlando and where our house is. There, love it. Super cute. Another Sue Hills design. And it was funny, I only noticed that when I got home. It was the same as my graduate one from earlier. But I just think it's very cute. She does do like the whole map of America, but yeah. Special place in my heart is Florida. I bought this one, Just Nan, Witchy Pumpkin Cottage. Let me see, can you see it? So you've got, it's a cube, so it's showing you all the other stuff's collapsing. Rachel says it's gone. All the different sides of the cube, and then it includes the beads. And I bought fabric to go with it. Not so sure if it says, the shop wasn't great for like labeling their fabric, but the recommended fabric was 32 counts. Oh, here we go. Yes, it was the recommend, but it wasn't the right color. That's right. It's 30 count Weeks Dye Works Carrot. So the recommended count was 32 Weeks Dye Works in pumpkin linen, but I measured the size and this should fit, so that was that. Then nearly there. This one I could not wait to get my hands on. I went across with two patterns that I just was not coming home without. I had said to myself, if I don't get these, I will literally flip. And I had thought about putting in an advance order on 123 Stitch and getting them shipped to my house that I was staying in. But then I kind of said, no, let me try and give an LNS some support. But I went to the LNS very early in my stay so that if I couldn't get it, I would have bought it. So I went to the LNS. They didn't have them, but they ordered them for me. So I had to go back again just before we went home and I collected them. This one, I've wanted this one for so long. This Sleepy Hollow by Glendon Place, who ironically lives in Florida, which I didn't know until got there. What a pattern. Absolutely love this. So this is meant to be, can't remember. This is meant to be stitched on 28 count haunted casual linen by Picture This Plus, and I got Nocturne, could not get haunted, but it's so close that to me it's perfect. You can see that one and look at that one. Isn't it perfect? So yeah, I got that. Probably 80% of my expenditure in this cross-stitch shop is fabric, because you just can't get it over here, and I was like a kid in a candy shop. Second pattern that I wanted to get was not coming home without, but did not get. they didn't have and they had to order from me. I finally got it. I was kind of very overcome. Halloween, Hawker and Hollow. I don't know why I've wanted this so much, but I just have, because I adore Halloween, but I want this so much. Now, I didn't buy fabric for this because it recommends stitching on 40 count. Nope. So I said, I'll just bask in the knowledge that I have it. And I can get it up later. I also bought, yay! Now I bought this because I have a digital subscription to Just Cross Stitch, and they really bug me in a lot of ways. First of all, your digital subscription, when you try and stitch something and you try and zoom in on the chart, the zoom sucks. It gets all blurry and it really bugs me. And I don't know why I haven't cancelled it. Probably because in my mind it's the only non-gimmicky cross-stitch magazine out there. Just cross-stitch, crazy world of cross-stitch, blah blah blah. They're all gimmicky, cuddly bears, hedgehogs, Christmas, and it annoys the life out of me. This one to me always has nice patterns and nice stories behind them. So that's why I kept subscribing. And I mean I stitched 2-3 things I think out of them so far. So I really wanted this edition. And on my app, on my iTunes app, they wanted €10.99. Now you convert €10.99 into dollars, and it's less than $9.99, which is what this retails for. And it really bugged me. And I actually contacted them last year about it, and I gave out and I said, this is not fair, you're charging me more for absolutely no reason because it's a digital issue. And I got no response. The same response I got when I contacted them saying your images are blurry when you try and zoom and stitch. No response. Bit disappointed. So anyway, I knew, and I said I'm not buying this on the app. So I waited and I got it for $9.99, and now I have a physical copy. So just cross stitch. Then I bought more fabric. Like I said, most of my purchases were fabric. This is, picture this, plus 32 count dapple, and it's a fat quarter. Isn't that gorgeous? Absolutely gorgeous. Love it. 32 count is probably my favourite count of fabric because 2/2 I like to stitch. I just like it a lot. You can stitch it and you can see. So that was that one. I love the colours in that one. You could use that for anything, you know, anything will fit. This one is nearly identical, so I obviously have a graw for this shade. This is colours, no, picture this plus 32 count Belfast in feldspar. Now this is a fat half, so the other one I bought was a fat quarter. This is a fat half. So you can see the colours. It's gorgeous. I just went mad. I just kind of grabbed loads of fabric and went, have that, have that, have that. And in fairness, the shop were great because they cut me fabric for other stuff, and in the shop they serged it for me, and I thought, well, that's good service. And then I bought this, which is boring, 32 count linen, optical white, and again, it's a fat half. It's quite stiff though for linen, bit surprised, but you know, you can't go wrong, and you just can't get it here, so why not? When in Vegas. And then I bought this one, which is, picture this, plus 32 count in Dawn, and this is a fat quarter. It's doesn't really show up right on the camera here. It's a really deep petrol blue teal. It's really gorgeous. Let me see if I open it out. Can you see it some more? It's really gorgeous. Oh, it's hard to see, isn't it, with the light behind it? But oh, it's beautiful. And when I look at this fabric and I look at the patching and stuff, I wonder, does she use oil? Because you know, if you put oil on water and then put something on top of it, it'll block it like that. It looks to me, because it's very uniform. But I loved that. So I bought that. So what else did I... Oh, yes! I got the 30 new shades of DNC, or 35. Yay. What else did I buy? That was it. Yeah, that was everything else that I bought. No, I tell a lie. This I saved for the end because I have a big sad. I bought Mirabilia, the Queen Mermaid. Now I've never stitched a Mirabilia and kind of struggled a little bit with the fan obsession over it all. But when I was in the shop and I went looking and I saw this and I just thought, well, out of all the ones, now she didn't have Lady of the Flag, which didn't interest me anyway because I'm not American, but she didn't have really any other choices other than I think this is one of the ones that was released for the 20th anniversary. But I just thought it was beautiful. I think it was the shades of green that called to me. I just thought they were lovely. And I said, go on, let's do it. So I bought this. I also bought the embellishment pack. And I bought the recommended fabric, which is 32 count water lily. Is it Karen? I think it's Karen makes it. 32 count water lily, very stiff. And I bought it and I brought it home to the house in Florida. And I was sitting there during the holiday and I said, I want to start it. I want to start it. I want to start it. So I started it. And I started stitching using my lovely new Q-snaps. And I was delighted and everything was going great. As you can see, this is the extreme close-up edition. This is the progress I made. So I did well. I even used my Krynic. You can't really see it there, but there's the Krynic there. So I was stitching away and everything was going great. And for some reason this morning I looked at it and I went, that doesn't look quite right. Why doesn't that look right? So I took it off the Q-snap and I held it up and I went, that's why it's not right, because this is a fat quarter. I started stitching on the narrow edge. So it's not going to fit. I'm going to have to rip this all out and start all over again. And I'm really, really, really demoralised about it because I'm very weak and I kind of subscribe to the pressure that other stitchers put on you, and you see them churning out tons of amazing looking stuff all the time, and every time I try something, everything I make always has a mistake in it. And this just, to me today, this is kind of, I'm really sad, very, very sad. I'm very embarrassed. But anyway, I'm going to have to figure out how to rip this out without destroying the fabric. Now my back is not bad. This is the back. So my back is not bad. So hopefully I can get it out, but I need to think about it. And then by me saying that, I feel like I'm putting on the long finger, and all I'm going to do is put it away in a box and it'll never get stitched, and that makes me very sad. So I need to figure out how to safely rip that out without destroying that, because that fabric was very expensive, and the pattern and the threads and the beads, and now thankfully I hadn't put any beads on, you know, so I really want to do it justice. So any suggestions as to preferred methods for ripping stuff out? So I think that's pretty much it. Jesus, it's been nearly an hour. That's a long video for me. I talk fast and I don't like to talk long, but I'm really sorry I've been away. I've missed you all. I've watched you all, continued to watch you all. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave me a comment so I know people are watching, because it gives you so much encouragement to make more. And in the meantime, happy stitching, and see you soon, please God.